watching SKST Radio.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Marsha Carter McLean, and I am CEO and founder of Grandma's 2.0. How you doing? I'm so excited today because this is our first episode of the 2.0 Grandma Show. Yes, honey, I'm so excited. I don't know what to do. And guess what? In the words of Tabitha Brown, this is my contribution to Black history, okay? Yes. So I am so delighted, oh my God, just delighted. I just can't even, it's beyond words, to introduce Miss Natascha Hardee of the Hardee Life. Now, she's going to tell us all about that, what that means, what she does. I happened to find Miss Natascha on, I think it was either Instagram or TikTok, and she was just having a ball. I'm like, who is this woman? I need to know her because I'm all about having fun and having some joy in my life. So I am so delighted to have with us today the life coach herself, Miss Natascha Hardee. Hi, Natascha.
How are you? And first of all, I'd like to say happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you all.
Yes, honey. Yes.
Listening.
Oh my God. See what I mean already?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. See what I mean already? I just love it. Yes. So, all right, so Natascha, tell us about who you are first, and then I want to hear about the Hardee Life, because I may need Hardee Life in my life, okay? And I know there's some grandmas out. Yes, there's some grandmas out there that need this, so please let us know, enlighten us.
Okay, first of all, I am a native New Yorker. I'm a graduate of the fame I Want to Live Forever.
Really?
I graduated and I went to school with Erica Gimbel, who played Coco on the television show. And we graduated from the same class. And I started this journey of health and wellness well over 50 years ago. My mom was
that explains how you can do the cuff it. I saw you. Anyway, go ahead.
My mom was an avid yogi, and she had a yoga practice. And I was her yoga partner in the studio called Our Living Room Floor as a toddler. So this started for me way back. And my father used to love to dance. And somewhere in between yoga and dancing with my dad, my mom said, let's put her into dance school. And so I started dancing at a very young age, before 4, 5, or 6, something like that. And then I went dating classes and attended, auditioned for performing arts, got in, and I was determined to get in because my mother said, if you don't get in performing arts, you're not going to public school, you're going to a Catholic high school. And I was like, I've had enough with Catholic school.
I know, that's right. I'm a Catholic school girl myself. I know exactly what you're talking about. And in New York on top of that. So anyway, another story.
We have that. So I graduated as a dancer from performing arts, and it was great. And I studied here in New York at Dance of Harlem, Alvin Ailey, and so many other studios here in New York City. And after I graduated, I really wasn't that interested in dance. And then I had a son, I'm a mother. And after I had my son, I got into dance again. And shortly after that, I went into African dance. So I studied West African dance for about 15 years and performed around at various colleges in the New England area. And from becoming a dancer and did that for a number of years, I thought, they say dancers retire at 30, but I decided I was going to go into fitness. So I went into the health and wellness industry. I should say I went into the fitness industry and became a multi-certified fitness professional, meaning I have 20 plus certifications in fitness, including Pilates. And my last certification I got is called Laughter Yoga, which is a great certification.
Laughter yoga.
And I do laughter yoga sessions with people also. So, which is great for your health, heart, pain reduce, stress reduce.
Yes.
it's very, very good for so many so many areas of your well-being that they have studies that show that laughing improves your overall health,
Health,
mental,
yes.
physical, and emotional. So I did that for a while, and then I was after I did fitness for a while, I thought, hey, I don't see myself getting up early in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, when I get in my 50s and 60s. In my mid 40s, I went back to school to become an occupational therapy assistant. And I graduated at 50 after trying to go to school for off and on for 30 years to get a degree. So I got my degree at 50 and graduated. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because I want people to know it's never too late if you really.
Never too late. Never too late.
And I did that for a while. I worked in the healthcare industry for a while, and I just didn't like working with sick people. So I left there and decided, pivoting queen. I can coach somebody who wants to pivot, baby.
Yeah.
So from there, I decided to become a life coach. And so I came into life coaching and instead started doing that. And in the process of that, before I actually became a life coach, when I was on my way to life coaching, I had 2 traumatic, life-altering deaths in my family. One was my dad, who died from cancer in November of 2015, and then my oldest brother, which is my favorite sibling, passed away from cancer 2 weeks later. So that was very traumatic for me. And then I got an opportunity to move to a larger apartment. So I moved to my apartment at that time, must have been about 28 or 29 years. So that was another traumatic scenario. So that was like a month after my dad and my brother passed away. And then 6 months after that, my son was shot.
Oh my God.
And he lived, but he needed to have 8 surgeries to repair his hand because he had what they call a monkey claw when the hand closed up because the shot blew out his extensors. Okay. And and January of 2017, so that was summer of 2016, which was very traumatic. I went to therapy and everything, but then it was too many things happening for me to even cope. And my son called me on the phone in January 2017 and asked me, could I take my granddaughter Dana for a year? And I said, sure. He was going through a lot. And so I took Dana in June of 2017. And little did I know I was still in menopause. And that was one of the hardest times. That first, the 5 years she's been in my care full time. Was some of the most challenging years of my life because
You only have one son, right?
I have one son.
One son, and so he was an adult, and so you were without kids for a while. Was that it? Is that what made it challenging?
I was living my best life, baby.
I know that's right, girl.
Cuba, Israel, Jordan. I've been to Brazil. I've been to Dominican Republic. I've been to Jamaica. Been to Africa. I was living my best. Been to Korea, honey. I was living my best life. And then I had to stop what I was doing to manage a child. But the thing is that, to be quite honest with you, my son had been in and out of jail from 2006, which really freaked me out when it first happened. I had to work through that, honey. And then we went to a point. So he was in and out of prison. And then once I got my granddaughter, he went back in jail for 22 months. And so it was so difficult because I wasn't able to rely on him for his support. I'm single. So I had no other real outside study support to support me with her. When she came, she could barely read, write, or speak. Yeah. And we found out through testing that she's dyslexic. So that was the big issue, but no one could ever get it resolved. So now there's all this tutoring, and she was so behind in so many things, social, emotionally, all different ways. Got her in swimming, in dance, in drama, in tap, and she was in everything, honey. Every year we kept doing more and more things. She became a competitive swimmer. She played competitive basketball. She was doing ballet and gymnastics, and she's played the piano and the guitar, and she's been exposed to Hebrew, Latin, and Spanish. So she's been exposed to I just spent so much time getting her up to par that by the time when she first came, she was a 1-2 student. When she left here, she was an honor student. And she
Wow.
maintained those grades.
Kudos to you. Yes.
Yeah.
And grandmas, I think, need to hear that, because there are a lot of grandmas out there that are raising their grandchildren. And this is one of the reasons why I was excited for you to bring that up, because some people are struggling out there and they don't know what to do. So what advice would you give them?
You know, I would say, based on some information I just recently got from somebody I interviewed on my podcast, I was not aware that I could have gotten a care manager for her, because she has a learning difference. I did not know I could have gotten it, and I needed some help.
Right.
I needed a lot of help. So if you have a grandchild, and see if you could get a care manager for them through your insurance. They should provide you a care manager. I feel like if you get a care manager, it could have saved me so many headaches because I was trying to find help. No one had offered me any kind of counseling for me,
right?
Group support for me,
right?
And I found a lot of stuff for my granddaughter, but I couldn't find any help for me. So I would say go to therapy, get a coach, find some sort of support group. It doesn't even have to be for grandparents. Just get a support group. I just had no support, and I had a lot of people telling me what to do, but no one was willing to step in and do it. So you have to turn your ears off to these people telling me I was doing too much for her, but they wasn't living with me. And I have the OT background, worked with children with developmental issues, and I could see what was going on and knew what I needed to do. And not that what I did was perfect, but it was, I knew how to stimulate her, right? And I would say to other grandparents out here, use your resources. I was able to get a free neuropsych, which is how I got her diagnosed here in New York City. So find out, because here in New York City, a neuropsych is $8,000 to get it done. Find out what kind of testing. Be relentless with your kids in school. You got to be relentless. Like when my granddaughter was here and I would go up to the school, I would let them know I'm here to take no prisoners. What's going on? How can I help? I'm here to get this. What are we doing? Help me do that. How are we going to take this out?
And by law, they're supposed to. Yes, by law, they're supposed to. So yes,
if
a lot of people don't know that either, right? And that's part of the problem as well. Yes,
you got to have somebody to advocate. I had friends that I've asked go with me to the school in the beginning because I was very overwhelmed and intimidated by a lot of things and not knowing what to do because the school system had changed. My son was in his 30s. The last time I was dealing with school, and my son at that age, he was a little boy. It was 30 years ago. So everything has changed. And get support. And if you can't get support, get a friend to go with you to support you. Don't be afraid to ask for support. People are willing to help you. I mean, I had people I just asked them, can you take Dana to school 2 times a week for me? Can you take her to school once a week? Can you pick her up from school? Or what can you do? You know?
So that old African proverb, it takes a village, still holds true, right? It still holds true. It definitely does. So I want us to talk about where you are now. Like you told us a little bit about your coaching, your midlife. So I want us to talk about that. But first we have to take a little break, a commercial break, and then we'll come back. But that's what I want to hear next. I think our listeners really want to hear about this whole midlife thing. Because when I think about midlife, I think about midlife crisis with men, but hold that thought.
Okay.
Cammie's Closet, Cammie's Closet, Cammie's Closet, an upscale resale clothing, vintage clothing, handbag, and shoes online store. Cammie's Closet, spelled with a K, not with a T, is a small upscale resale boutique that carry gently used name brand clothing, vintage clothing, shoes, and handbags. Cammie's Closet is all about rediscovering, upcycling, and selling clothes of all kinds. Cammie's Closet believes it's an underappreciated form of clothing, and they started a win-win for everyone. The true value of resale. Cammie's Closet is very aficionado, passionate about rediscovering, upcycling, and reselling upscale resale and vintage clothing of all kinds. Go to cammiescloset.com. That's K, not a T, A-M-I-S-K, not a C, L-O-S-E-T. cammiescloset.com.
Okay, and we're back. So, Natascha, before the break, I asked you about talking a little bit about what you do as a coach, a life coach for midlifers. I know your podcast is called what is your podcast called? I want you to say it, not me. So you please say it for us.
Let's talk midlife.
Let's talk midlife. So let's talk midlife, okay? Because when I think about midlife crisis, that when you say the word midlife, what comes to my mind is crisis. So what kind of crisis are we going through? But guess what? When I looked it up, I didn't realize that was a term that was coined like 1960s, right? And it was all about men who were, I guess, kind of coming into a new part of their life, a new chapter. And they decided that the old stuff that they had, like women, family, and I'm just being funny. But that's what I read. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I don't think that's what you're talking about. So tell us what you're talking about.
Well, that's why I call it Let's Talk Midlife. And the reason being is because when you hear the word midlife, it's associated with crisis. However, crisis can happen at any stage of your life, and it doesn't have anything to do with midlife. Midlife is a phase of life from the age of 40, and their pre-midlife starts at age 37. So from the age of 40 to 65, where you are transitioning from your young adulthood into your senior adulthood. And it takes 25 years to do that. So through the process of 40, 50, 60 to 65, you are shedding, and this is what I would explain to one, like a snake, you are shedding the old way of people pleasing, yes, and everybody bag on death, not and wearing yourself out, overdoing it, not having boundaries. You're shedding of that, and you feel it because when you turn 40, when I turned 40, there was a switch that went off that I ain't taking no mess off of nobody. And then that went from when I got to 50, I actually ain't taking no mess off of nobody and no more. And then when I hit 60, honey, I remember feeling that I'm done.
Right.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
I'm not taking it no more. So it is negatives of this that's happening is what I want to let people know. And what you go through a number of transitions, phases, stages, and you're trying to figure out what the heck is happening to you. One of the main stages women go through is menopause. And menopause has 85 plus symptoms. So you have brain fog. You're trying to figure out what the heck is going on with me. You gaining this weight. You're trying to figure out why can't I get this weight off of me? You may have your girlfriend downstairs is drying up, or you got issues going on down there, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with this girl. And if you in your 40s, like I was, and you go to your doctor because I had an irregular period, the doctor said to me very simply, well, you have to look at, he said, how old are you? I said, I was been 41, 42. He said, well, think of it as your life now. You had an overdraft checking. Well, now you no longer have overdraft checking. I had another doctor at another time tell me that I had hypothyroidism, which was not true. It was menopause. And I had a friend of mine tell me recently when she was in her 40s, her mid to late 40s, she told her doctor, I think I'm going through menopause. And she said her doctor laughed at her, and it was a woman, a female doctor. So these are the things that you are going through that you feel unheard, unseen, not believed, dismissed, and there's nothing wrong with you. This is all normal. These feelings and sensations you're having, and you're like, why isn't anyone hearing me? And women are suffering in silence because people don't want to talk about it because there's a lot of shame. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's stuff that goes on. You lose your hair. Some people get balding up here. It's you get joint pains, you get issues with your teeth, your gums recede. There's so many things going, and then you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you don't see that person that you knew as being quote unquote beautiful or sexy. So now your concept of beauty gets skewed, and you don't no longer, you don't think that you pretty. You don't think you cute. You don't think you sexy. And it's just not that. You got to be like, I'm sexy and I know it. And
Yeah, you got to do self-talk, right? You got to do some self-talk. Yes.
But the thing is, it's okay to be in that space long as you know that this is just a transition for me. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm not losing my mind. Then you got the empty nesting. And when you empty nest, by the time my son was able to leave home, he was living with his father. But my granddaughter, she left home, and I'm still fully responsible for all kinds of bills and camp and preparing for summer and summer school. I'm doing a lot of, so I'm like, this is how it feels to be an empty nester and have kids in school, because you still paying for stuff even though they not home, and you gotta figure that out, right? You gotta figure, are you sleeping at night? Your mood is changing. You're trying to figure a lot of things out. This is all part of it, and you get to have tips, tools, and strategies. That's what I tell people all the time. Tips, tools, and strategies to navigate midlife, because I call it the adolescence of adulthood. When you were a teenager, there was all these changes going on and they were hormonal and you didn't know what to do. Well, this same thing is happening in midlife. And so what I do is I teach women how to navigate midlife from a space of being proactive, of being confident, and so that they can know that they don't have to be afraid of change. They can create a plan and strategies to navigate midlife. Okay. And let's just say they no longer have to put their health in the backdrop. Their wellness is important. And you're looking for new. You want to upgrade your lifestyle. Okay. Some people are like, I've been a mother all my life. I'm trying to be cute now. Right? It's time to upgrade your lifestyle. This is what I support you to do, because you deserve a Hardee life. This is what I speak about on my podcast. This is what I talk to women about. And that's what Hardee Life is all about. And when you see me, I'm bubbly, I'm having fun.
Yes.
And enjoying life, because it is not about a crisis. It's people are weighing you down with that negativity. And it is a time for you to shed your skin, for you to evolve, for you to grow into the fullness of who you are, to live a bold, powerful, full life.
And our missions, I think, are very similar. One of the things that I liked about you, when I looked online, you talked about a midlife plan. So I want to hear a little bit about that. So can you tell us a little bit about that? I'd love to hear about that. Absolutely. I think that's fascinating. It's like being preventive.
Yes. My mother used to say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So what I discovered is a lot of times we go through our lives and we're taught from early on in life, we taught to plan as children. We're taught plan to be a mother, plan to get married, plan to go to college, plan to buy a house, plan on working. We taught about all of that. And then in the process, that expands to creating a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. But nobody tells us to plan for midlife. And midlife has a whole lot of things happening in it that we got to plan for. Okay. They tell us to plan for retirement, but they don't tell us about filling that gap between working and retiring. There's a whole 25 years in there that we got to take care of ourselves. And the sooner women learn about midlife and the responsibilities that come with midlife, the better off we will be. So you will say by the age of 30, let me start planning for midlife. Let me start planning for empty nesting, for menopause. Let me start eating a certain way. Let me start exercising. Let me start taking care of my health. Let me begin to see what type of lifestyle I want to live as a midlifer, and be real about getting your papers in order. I used to work in healthcare. Listen, I saw people in their 40s with strokes. I saw people in their 30s that had an accident. We call it a TBI, traumatic brain injury, that was now disabled. You must save and have life insurance, IULs, and all kinds of things in place for you in case you don't make it over the top all the way. Or let's say if you got a divorce, God forbid, or your husband died, God forbid, or your wife, you have to plan for those, or loss of your children. These things, it's not I'm not the Grim Reaper. I'm just saying these are things we get to plan for. I never thought in a million years that I'd be raising my granddaughter. You could have never told me when that child was born that I'd be raising her for 9 years of her life. You couldn't have ever told me. I would have scratched your eyes out and called you a lie. But you never know. You know, so because I'm like, I ain't doing no children.
Right.
But if he told me, Mom, could you raise her for 9 years? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So God got jokes, you know. That's all I can say. God got me. I was like, God got you. Yeah. So I'm saying that if you don't plan, if you fail to plan to fail.
Plan to fail, yeah.
Plan for this stage of your life. And I had a midlife plan up on a freebie.
Okay.
I'm going. I don't have it now, but I will be re-releasing it on my site.
Okay.
You can get a midlife plan, and it had steps to walk you through it. Now it's just a plan, right? But you can copy it multiple times and do it for different phases of your life, whether it's planning for in case I transition, planning for my health, planning for career change. A lot of people in this stage of their life, they're looking for a new career. How do I do that? How do I pivot? How do I work on my health, change my diet, create an exercise plan? There's so many things to work towards. My spirituality, right? What am I going to do with shifting my clothes? Changing our style. And look at how can we change our style, our makeup, our hair. There's a lot of things that come into play. So we get to look at all of that. That's what the midlife plan is, to fill you with strategies to navigate.
I want to get that. I'm going to go to your site and get that. And I would like to share it with my grandmas. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think that's something definitely that people need. It's something that we don't always think about. But you're right. It's something that's truly important and critical and not just for us, but we also talk a lot about legacy, and it's important for that as well. So, but oh my God, I can't believe our time is almost up. Oh my, this has been wonderful. And I'm so excited that I hope this is just part one.
Oh, I'll come back.
Okay.
I'm coming back now. I gotta come back and let you know how I do once I graduate from this IT program.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's something that grandmas want to know too as well. Because we believe at Grandmas 2.0, just like you do, that it's never too late to do anything that you want to do to live your dreams. Never too late to get started on your best life. Okay. And so we agree on that wholeheartedly. I want to thank you so much for being here today on Tuesday, February 14th, the day of love. And taking your time to share some nuggets with us about what it is about midlife, what we can do to at least get through it with sanity, okay? And to be preventive, to really take a look at it and think about what we want to do. And it doesn't matter where we are. We could be 35, we could be 45, we could be 65, we could be 75. Still, there's going to be changes. So I'd like to thank you for sharing that with you. And thank you, woman to woman, for really thinking about something like this, because it's not something that we all think about, So I really appreciate your platform and look forward to hearing more from you and doing this again, part 2.
You're welcome. I
Any
appreciate
last words? We got maybe 1 minute. Any last words? Any last final thought?
Yes, love yourself through
Mm.
everything. It's really about you prioritizing you and loving yourself. You have all the knowledge, wisdom, and expertise you need to get to wherever you want to go. Use your resources. Can I share where people can find me?
Yes, please, 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 please.
Okay, great. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Hardee Life. That's HARDEE Life. And when you click the link in my bio, you can go directly to my podcast, which is called Let's Talk Midlife, which is on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Also, you can find me on LinkedIn at Natascha Hardee, like my name you have see here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all around the social media streets and on my podcast. And this has been so amazing. Thank you for having me.
You're
And
welcome.
and all of you, remember, if nobody's told you that they love you today, let me be the first to tell you I love you. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Go be amazing. You know why? Because you are. You are.
Bye, Natascha.
Bye.
Thank you so much.